Why is chat disabled? How do you want to go live? Okay. I don't know why chat's disabled. But okay, whatever. I don't know. A little bit of a late start here, so let's get it rolling. So we had a bounce day. Quite the odd bounce day, if you ask me. You usually don't get the push down until 11 on a Friday and then the bounce. But that's what happened on basically all indices. Start SPY. You see that on Friday we opened, battled, came back down, and then just completely V-shaped. Even got through the 50-day. And you could say, oh, well, it played right off the 50-day on QQQ. And it's like, sure, yeah. I mean, it did on QQQ, but what about if you were playing SPY? What about if you were playing other names like NVIDIA and stuff? So it's never that clean cut. And if you're saying I'm looking for longs around the 50-day and I'm looking for potentially an hourly higher low, well, that didn't happen. But if you're looking for an hourly bounce, that did happen. Where you have the sideways range, bear break, there's your axis here. And then you have this higher low off of that range. There you go. NVIDIA's was a little bit more sideways. But this push down was weird. Definitely since you had this big move down. So you had to move up off the value area, the yesterday's low or Thursday's low. Push down, then you had this lower low with no follow through. With a nice bull candle here. So this sucked in more bulls here too, because a lot of people thought this was the bottom. At the lower low, no follow through, came back up, looking to change the bear trend. And then you get like a double top. I'm sure in some names you got a higher high and then more downturn. So at that point, it's like this move, in my opinion, was just not really expected, like as big as it was. But it's easy to say it in hindsight. That's for sure. Anyways, so we have a monster gap up, which is exactly what every trader did not want to see for retail, or if you're like a day trade slash swing trade, because now you have this gap up all the way back up to Thursday's high with very little consolidation on the hourly, if any. So it's very hard to look long at this point because we're extended. And at the same time, we're essentially setting a daily higher low here, um, out of extended hours significantly, which is, again, something that you don't love. You'd rather set the daily higher low in extended in regular trading hours. But because the gap is so big, this is like definitely has to be considered a daily higher low being set. So any consolidation from this point would just say anything above 661.21 is a daily high or low on SPY. But how far can the bulls get? I, I mean, we have this hourly range here. That was just sideways range here that broke bear. We back tested it twice and then went down. So this is definitely an interesting area. Both sides of this range, the low end of the range and the high end of the range, are definitely interesting levels. Obviously, there's quite the volume node in the middle here from a POC standpoint. So that could be an area too to look out for. But remember, once it gets into these areas, price action gets a little wonky. So QQQ is going to be the same exact thing. We just have to adjust some of the levels. And a lot of names did this. So it's like either you got your capital in or you didn't. As you can see, QQQ just fell right through this little level of interest here. That once again, we just had a little bit of basically a bear flag here. So it's interesting to see that people did show up here, just not really much of anything. Another gap up towards Thursday's high. This level here at 598 is a very key level. If it breaks that, then we'd probably be looking right back down here at 590, 580. The Dow, same thing. I'm sure it's gapping up as well. Didn't quite get to the 50-day. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're watching the Dow, doesn't quite get to the 50-day. If you're watching SPY, bust through 50-day. If you're watching QQQ, bounce right off 50 days. So it's like you can't just assume that you're always going to be watching the same thing. Which means what? Which means that you have to, you know, say, okay, it gets to this area, and then I'm just kind of looking for some sort of clues or something like that. That gets really tough. XLF still looking good. XLV breaking into this range here. Really would like one over this alternative POC. If we can get over that, now we're starting to sway this range here a little bit. We'll attack the 150s. Bitcoin looking good. I was actually going to be buying it, but wanted to rebuy IBIT at the end of Friday. So it closed right around here in pre-market or after hours, and I was looking to buy, but I was very distracted with other things. I just like that it came from the very bottom, shot all the way to the top here, knowing this was a level of interest, looking for some sort of pullback here, hoping for exactly what this is, which is, you know, the break above. And you can see it didn't quite get, it got over the value. So this is where the POC stuff is intriguing because, clearly closed out of the value area high level, but it didn't break the highs here. So it came back and held, but it's all about like just understanding, like, it's okay if it breaks the value area high and goes back in, but you want it to hold the POC here, which you see it does. That you get the high, the follow through, then here's the real move. So now looking up at this daily level. I did grab some IBIT here, and I sold it up here, but I didn't reload, and I would have liked to get in there and hold it for a little bit longer. Just watching too much, I guess. All right, let's see what's going on here. Google. It'd be intriguing to see if any of these names aren't gapping up, but we talked about Google on Friday as it could have been a really good short in the morning or one of the stronger names to go long off of, and it was kind of both. Where in the morning it just dumped, was very weak, and then you got this sideways range, bear break, break back over it. As you see, it broke the high of the range, traded sideways for a while, and then broke bull. So gap up rules apply for Google. It's getting a little choppy here. Had this little lower high, lower low here. Could be some sort of a bull flag on the weekly. Tesla here, not gapping up, barely. Still waiting for it to do all this action. Holding the 50-day. But still just waiting on this one. Amazon is interesting. I don't know why I wasn't looking at Amazon here. But again, it's tough though because you get your bounce. You have this big move down. You get this bounce right off the top of this range here. Which again, this is not a value range. This is just a place of interest in the weekly. But you see, bull showed up here. But if you do, it's a bear flag. So you can get in here down low, maybe on the 5-minute, and look for the hourly bounce. But then you have to be careful. And then be okay with getting stopped out. Then you're into this range here, get this weird candle on Friday, which is hard, somewhat tricky. And then you have this lower low, and you think it's going to go back to the bottom of the range potentially. So the bears can crack it, and it just doesn't get going. So again, I have an issue with, okay, I know price wants to go here. Is it going to get there? Is it not going to get there? Or is it going to break through? All of them are on the table. So it really becomes, what are you looking for? You're looking for an hourly bounce, right? You're looking for an hourly bounce. Let's find something on the 5-minute time frame. And I mean, if you're looking here, it's fairly obvious. Like you got this very nice inverse head and shoulders. And you can say, well, maybe here, sideways range here. Yeah, this bear break, it'll follow through into this higher. Yeah, I mean, like these are the tricky ones, but they're not very clean. These are the tricky ones. Let's see if there was like any type of, yeah, and as for like the moving average, it wasn't really helping much at all until things got going. And then you see, hold it here, hold it here, hold it here. But Amazon out of its weekly range now, which again, going back to the weekly time frame, we had the sideways range here. We broke bull. There's your back test of the level, and then potentially maybe going higher now. Because at first, go back to the daily, we had this pullback here, then it gapped up, didn't quite get to the level here, and now you get back to the level here. And once again, this range is simply just, it's a level of interest because this was the biggest move the bulls had. As you see, it's from the weekly close all the way up to the highest candle. That's the range I take. And then I look for a big move down. So once I see that and then a big move down, I say to myself, okay, that is considered resistance for me. One of the 3 ways I consider resistance. Then I get confirmation on these candles and these candles here telling me that this level is legit. And I do the same thing down here, right? You have like this weekly pullback here. This is the furthest, and this is a little bit different too because obviously the bulls are in control here. So it's like how far can the bears push price down before a nice move up into resistance? And it was right here. So you get the same thing here. You get the move up here, and now it really is just about being patient and not overdoing it. Because if you look at the daily time frame when it gets to that weekly level, it gets tricky. First of all, you have this bottom shaping up here, triple bottom here, that you could very easily have been a bull here, right? It's not, it's early buyers here. You get the bull break here, and then they fail. So I mean, this is a spot here where bulls could have gotten in. This is one of the reasons why I like this trade a lot because it got out all the eager bulls here, stopped them out. Then you have this inside bar breaking bull with no follow through. That also got some people. That one actually got me, I believe, as well. And then you had this little bear break to the bottom of the range here. Once again, this was not a value. This is just a level of interest. Um, and the bears protected it, and you get this gap up here. And I remember on this day here, I wanted to go long, and I just didn't have the confidence with it. And then the earnings came out. I was worried about the 50-day, and then I wasn't willing to hold through earnings. But here we go. This is a good opportunity here. So gap up rules apply on Amazon. Amazon could be shaping up for a good long here. I mean, it might be tricky though, because once again, like for me, this is now the line in the sand here. This is a really nice bullish hammer. It's holding the 9-day. I think all those things are really important. You have this gap up open. You have straight up move from the hourly after the 5 minute inverse head and shoulders got the hourly going, and then the market just kind of either sold off, all the shorts started to cover, and then maybe some bulls got interested. But I do think that it still can very easily be a bulls, um, a bear stepping back in this morning. But we have the straight up move here. If you're looking for hourly levels, again, it's hard to look past right here. I mean, there's a lot of sideways action here with a big move down. So it's hard to not look at. I mean, you could probably just take this whole entire range. Let's see if that range changes if you just do it this range. Yeah, it changes a little bit, right? I don't know if I want to take this whole entire range or if I want to just take just this range. I think I'm just gonna take this range. And now this is a level of interest. Not a level. This is the overhead supply. It's different than a level of interest. We talked about this with the whole um, our camp analogy, which I don't love, but it makes some sense. But it's simple as there was two-way trading here. The bears won, and they won with authority, pushing price down. That tells you that if price gets back here, there should be some positions still looking to hold their ground, and also new bears stepping in. Definitely, if we get there exhausted, right? If smart traders will look at how price gets back to a level, and they'll say, okay, sure, it might be strong because it got here, but at the same time, there is this level of okay, they're being exhausted. And Dan the chart man with chart guys always talks about how like imagine a bull running like 10 miles after people, and it just knocking through walls, knocking through walls, knocking through walls, and now it's at like its 10th mile, and there's another big wall, and he's just tired, and he's just having trouble getting through these other walls because he doesn't have as much, strength anymore. And it's kind of the same thing where it's like this is a wall here. The bulls just ran up, 5 miles getting up here on the hourly with no consolidation, no rest. Now they're up against this big wall, this big battle. Um, you know, and that kind of mindset of, okay, sure, I'm going to take a short here potentially. And the hardest part of trading, and it still gets me, um, is that, okay, you have this analogy, you know that it's a smart analogy, you know that it makes sense, you know that it probably should work. It doesn't mean it has to work. That's the problem. Is that when people get this thing in their mind of, okay, this is a great idea, and a lot of things in life, a great idea usually works out, right? Um, or it pays off in a sense. In stocks, it's a probability game. So you have to have a good game plan, understand that it should work. And a lot of traders say, always take trades that should work, not that should work, and not just like um, trades that you're not really sure, right? Take setups that should work, and this is a setup that should work. I mean, it's consolidating under it a little bit here. That could be building some buying pressure. But again, there's three levels in here: the value area low, the POC, and the value area high. The value area high is in good level because it's literally at the same level as the high of the actual um, range, which is nice for a change. But anywhere in this range here, you could be looking for some sort of 5 minute pattern to seek some sort of hourly or 4 hour high or low, or you can top fish. Top fish scares me in these levels because I never know, and nobody knows if it's going to be the value area low or the POC or the value area high or the bull break with no follow through over the value area high, right? So I never really have a lot of confidence with top fishing these levels because I could be wrong two times and then right the third time, and then I don't know if I'm even making my money back on the trade. But this is actually a decent one. And do we have any confluence besides it just being like a sideways range? You don't really need much more confluence. You do have hourly oversold, overbought approaching, so there is some confluence there on on the daily time frame. You don't really have anything. I mean, you have the high of I mean, I guess that's some confluence, right? You have the high of Thursday right at the POC. So you have hourly oversold, the high of Thursday, and then the hourly POC. So there is a lot of confluence there. So there could be the short for the morning if you're looking short. And we know the gap up rules apply. So if you reject from here, you would assume that we would get back to the value area, the regular trading hours high. That would make sense. That would be a good trade. And let's say we did end up looking for some sort of rejection here. Let's say you get in here. You want you stop above the value area high. This isn't an hourly trade, so I would probably want to use an ATR on the 5 minute time frame. I've been thinking about using half on the ATR and time, so that's going to be 40 cents, so 20 cents on top of that. Just doesn't seem like a big enough move. It doesn't seem like a big enough buffer. What's the hourly? Hourly is $1.50. I mean, hourly ATR is $1.50. So we'll just do half we'll just do it half the I just want to stick with the half. I just don't know where I want to be with it. So maybe half the ATR of the actual setup and not the ATR of the entry. So if we do 75 cents from the high here, that would be 185. Okay, that actually makes me feel a bit more comfortable. And then I would be looking to get to here, and you get 2.5 out of 1. I mean, this would kind of be a top fish level, it seems like. Where's her pen? Now, don't get me wrong, it is kind of an aggressive play. We've been bullish for a few days now, then the bulls finally show up. But this would just be a morning trade. So it'd be Amazon. I guess you would call it a top fish. Now, with top fishes, you basically have to just, it really is like price gets to that level and you get in. Um, and it's less about waiting for patterns and stuff like that. So the stop would be 21 251 dot, we'll call it 66. We never want to put it on a 5 or 0. Target is going to be, we'll call it 245.02. And the entry is going to be somewhere in here. So we have Amazon for a quick trade on the morning. If we can find a better short, we will. The only reason I don't love this short as much is because it does have, if we go back to the daily time frame with our bigger moving averages, you can see that it's over the 9-day, it's over the 50-day, so it's got a lot to like. So you're really fighting the bigger picture here, which doesn't make it as appealing. I'd be interested in a long on an hourly pullback potentially. Nvidia had a big day. I sold too soon. I just didn't like that. Well, I had family coming, but if I'm being honest, I should have probably just sold half and held it for the rest of the day, which was in the back of my head. But um, the main thing that I was thinking about was that it's a Friday. The Bears already failed on the morning. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be buying like crazy at on a Friday at 11:30, lunch approaching? So for me, I'll show you. Actually got a really nice. I stopped out in the morning here, um, but I got a really nice play here because I was using these levels here, and I saw that we broke bear. We had this little pattern that I love, and then I got here. I was just looking for, after seeing this pattern here, this bullish engulfing after this doji and this red candle down through support. Um, I was just looking for a higher low to take my stop underneath here, and I got in like here, and it was trading sideways, and I really liked that it was trying to make a base here, and then it shot straight up, and when it shot straight up again, you could see that the battle that happened here. This is still the value area high level of this range, or is this a level of interest again? No, no, no. There was a POC here. There was a POC here. There was a POC here. I must have deleted it. And there was a pre-market low right here too, which was a big level. So I sold it around here, um, not thinking it would get much higher. But one thing that was intriguing, so it's interesting because like this level breaks down. Okay, so here's the big level. This level breaks down, and this is where bulls were. Bulls got stopped out, got stopped out, got stopped out. It didn't quite break all the way to the lows here, so I guess there were still some bulls in play. And I think that's where I kind of um, dropped the ball, was because it didn't break this structure here. And I have to make these levels a little more clear because this is the value area range, which is the most important, but it still needs a crack down below here. So it was an interesting level. And once it got going, I should have said to myself, bulls are still here. So like, are the Bears really going to be defending the value area high and the POC of this range after this huge move down? Probably not, right? So I think a lot of traders look for the first hourly here, which it happened. Um, and I think a lot of people probably got out here too, and then this kept on. It just kept on running. If you go to the 5 minute time frame using EMA 12, it was a very nice guide too that I missed. You can see it bounced here, but then you lost it here. So you might have if you're playing that game, you get stopped out here, and then it recovers, and then it gaps up huge into this orange range here, which is again a good range. And Nasdaq was weaker on the way down. Sorry, Nvidia was weaker on the way down. So it's PLTR. So this might be a situation where it's stronger on the way up. And I'm pretty bummed about this again now that's looking back at it because I get zoomed in so much, but it literally came back down to the level that I wanted to see, and now it's up here. And like if you just keep it simple here, I mean Lamont likes to do this where like he'll get in some here, he'll get in some here, and then he'll get in some right around here, and then he'll put his stop under here with a little bit of wiggle room, whatever the a half ATR on this. So let's say like this. So that would be the play. You get three fills, and now you're up here. I mean, the problem with this is you're still not even at 2 to 1 here on such a nice move up. But if you're a bulldog, yeah, you could just wait for that. Like, look at this hourly stair step. You get in here, and I remember seeing this pattern too. It's the same pattern I saw in the 5 minute. I saw this pattern too, and I was like, oh my god, I should get in. But I felt like I was chasing at that point. Let's say you get in here, put your stop here, half the hourly ATR, boom. Now this is 4 to 1 already, right? That's where you want to be. Well, and so yeah, you look back and you're like, damn it, how did I? It's just not being able to hold on to the positions. That's all it is. So where's price at now? Price is here, where the level of interest was on the bull break and the back to the level of interest. This was the main region area. So if we go to the hourly, we'd see if there was bulls there. Then there were, right? We had the bull bounce here. We had the bull bounce here. This was the bear flag, and then we shot straight down. Bears were super strong here. I should have noticed this on. Um, I mean, this little sideways range bear break was super bearish because it didn't even back test this level here. Came back down, cut all the way through. I was aggressive on Friday morning though, and I got stopped out for it because I was looking to play off of a bear break. I guess I'll show. We still have plenty of time. I was looking for a break of this level and then a push back out of the level. So we had the breakdown, the break inside, and then we pushed back out of it. So I had this with a little bit of wiggle room, and I thought I was going to be saved here on this double bottom move up, but it didn't happen. And I'm getting stopped out right here, and then I got back in here and rode up to right here, and then didn't catch any of that, which is usually the case. The one thing about this stock that was throwing me off a little bit was the fact that the 50-day was here, and we pushed right through it very, very, very aggressively. So I was like, "Ooh, okay, well maybe QQ saved the day," but now Nvidia is still like one of the weaker names, so I really want to be playing this one long. But it did go back to a good range here. And sometimes it makes me question if playing the Valley area levels are as important here. I think my problem is that I'm putting too much weight on this level, and then I'm taking away all of the power of these levels here. Because I have to remember that a lot of people stick their stops underneath the low. I mean, this is why this happened here. This lower low, no follow through, stopped out a ton of people right here. So, this is a big level here. All these people who got in long here are probably stops are underneath these levels, not underneath the value area low. I mean, I guess some could be, but yeah, nice move up here. This is another play where you could potentially look to short, knowing that there were some bulls here. They failed. Bears getting here, so there were some people stopped out here. Um, and now we're in this range here. And we don't have the trend change yet. So this is a weird one. Usually you have the trend change. Usually you have the trend change and then you get back to a level like this and then there's a battle. This one's different because we have the trend change. Oh, we don't have the trend change, but we're over the level here where there should have been a battle. So what happens to all these people right here? Well, if you're short here, I mean, you would think that a lot of people would have gotten out there, right? So I think you have to take that in consideration of like how smart the market is, and you have to just not assume that it's stupid. So I'd assume if I got short here, a lot of people were getting out here, short recovering, and a lot of this bounce was short covering, in my opinion. So I don't know how many people are here still that are looking to potentially get out of the trade when price gets back here, but it's not a bad spot to potentially look long again. But this is definitely noteworthy on the hourly, and all you just need is that little rinky dinky higher low, higher high. But a lot of people like the fact that it's over the structure here. Let's look from a daily standpoint. If you're using your moving averages, you can say that this is a big level, the 9 day. Thursday's highs are probably seems like Thursday's highs. I've been saying that a lot lately, so maybe that's what people are really looking at as well. So let's start marking that level. We'll mark that with some red on these names. Meta weak. Eh, I mean, Meta filled the gap here. I mean, Meta, it doesn't surprise me that Meta isn't getting a lot of love here because, I mean, just doesn't have a lot going for it. Not a good look. Potentially a short off of the 200 day again. PLTR, we talked about it, how it was one of the weaker ones and it got. So this is a great example, right? This is a great example. You had three lows here and they all got cracked and then it bounced. Where is this stock right now? Oh, it's up here. Let's see how this one played out. A tricky candle in the morning, push down, push down. Here we go, straight up, right to the POC. But you could see it, like you could see, look at, if you zoom in here, like you could see that these levels come into play too, right? It's like the first time they get like, you see, 5 minute higher low off of this. Do we have confluence with the EMA 12? Yeah, there you go. Look at that trade. This is a great trade. 5 minute higher low off that level here. There's your confluence. Those are great trades. And here, once again, look at this. You break back over. Here's your back test. Boom. And like, do you get in on this candle? No, you probably get in on the close of this candle or the break of the high on this candle. Then you put your stop under here with wiggle room. I mean, if you're looking for a bigger move, like and shove your stop way down here, but it's a lot of risk. But even if you want to get back to the POC, you still get 3 to 1, so it's not that crazy because you're on a smaller time frame. Those things matter. Now going back to here, so it broke its 50-day. It even broke structure here. I mean, it broke this big structure here, like it just did. But we knew Nvidia was stronger because it had this bigger move up. Remember, it was up 15% versus the 10%. We talked about this. So like, if you're trying to go, let's be realistic, and this is what a lot of people on YouTube and stuff just don't look into because it's very hindsight trading. But if you're trying to get in here, you're looking for the daily high or low off of this structure here, knowing that like you have highs, you have all these different levels to watch out for. But let's say you're looking for hourly oversold conditions, looking for the hourly, the higher or low here. So you have the hourly back burner that triggers here, but it's nowhere close to where you want it to be. So maybe you're a little bit more patient because it's in pre-market. So you're waiting, doesn't happen that day. This day here, it shoots down, shoots straight back up. Okay, you're interested here. Maybe you get in on this day, you put your stop underneath here, or even under the POC. Um, you get this move up. You're feeling pretty good about it. This is Thursday, bull break, no follow through into a pullback. You get stopped out. All right, maybe you're not looking at the POC here after that fake bull break here. I believe I traded it short here. And then you have this sideways range here, right? But you're not as excited about it because you're at the value area low. So maybe you don't take that trade. Definitely since this. So maybe like you want to wait for like something like this to happen before go bullish again. But it's still, once again, things get a little dicey once it gets into these ranges like we talked about. So you get this bear break, this little rinky dinky lower high in pre-market. You get this push down. So you break structure here. Now you're going towards this structure here. You break that, then the bulls kind of come. So doesn't it feel like the bulls did their job on these names? I mean, the bears did their job on these names. It does, right? It feels like PLTR did its job on this name. They got price from way over here. They cracked all of this. They even got the structure crack. So they cracked everything. So they took out the whole entire order book, and then we start to move up. I mean, it just seems like a win for the Bears. It just does, at least on this name. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that, but it sure seems that way. And then here, let's see if you're looking for the hourly bounce, which is aggressive, would have been aggressive for sure. But QQQ was at its 50-day, and we were still looking for a daily high or low. And here's the spot we were talking about here. I mean, this is kind of a hard trade to get into. You get back over that structure, you get your high or low here. I'm sure there's an EMA 12 there. And then you look to get back to the Valley area low. There's a little bit of a fight there. You get over it, you back test it. Now you look to get to the POC. That's where everything closes. Now you get it back to Valley area high. Like these are all steps that need to be taken. You can't just skip them. At any point in time, it could reject off that price and go the other way, and you say to yourself, "Oh, I know I should have sold at that level." But it's like, did you though? Did you though? So I think we're in a smush zone here with the 9-day above. And again, this is a big enough move where, you're looking for a daily lower high on this name, which would be hourly overbought conditions. And if we look at the hourly chart, there's a lot going on right here. There's a lot going on right here. It's just you get all of this data and then you're like, okay, well then you have to execute. I wish The execution part was a little bit easier. I really do. That's the toughest part of this game. This is a very wide range, though. I don't like how wide the range is. Makes it very difficult. And it seems like a lot of names are trading sideways here over the past few hours, which is very. I mean, it's kind of bullish. Microsoft here, another weaker name. I mean, that's pretty embarrassing. And Apple was the strongest. And this is where it's interesting because Apple was the strongest name for the whole entire week, and it did nothing on the move up. It did nothing. I'd be pissed. And again, we're going back to this level here, this hourly range here, and you can see that we bounced off this level of interest, came back up, rejected off the value area low, sorry, the POC, rejected, again, lower low, no follow through. Where do we go? We broke it with no follow through, got above, got to the value area high, broke it with no follow through, tried to hold the POC, broke it again, no follow through. This is a huge level. How many times can one person get, not go over? I mean, that's something to be studied. But this level has been a lot of resistance here. So essentially, what I think is that there's orders here, and the bulls are taking some, taking some, taking some, taking some, taking some. But is that true? I'm not 100% sure because you can make a case that bears are stepping in, bears are stepping in, bears are stepping in, bears are stepping in, building a position here to push price down. Right? Like if you're going into territory, right? You're in territory and you get pushed back. And then you try again, you get pushed back. And then you try again, you get pushed back. You try again, you get pushed back. I mean, like that means that bears are doing a good job, right? But at the same time, this is bears on defense, right? I would assume this is a level where they're protecting it. They're not taking things over. So like the game Risk, like you don't want to be on your heels. You want to be the one moving forward. And this is an example of bears being on its heels. Definitely, you have the daily trend chain, the overall daily trend in your favor. You have the longer mover averages in your favor. So this is definitely the bears on their heels, and the bulls being on their heels would look like price again attacking this level of interest here, and then coming down here with this demand zone. So yeah, interesting to see. Apple definitely is in good shape though. There's nowhere to slice it. Apple is in good shape. Apple just at this point, I was looking for this trade. I missed this trade. I don't know if I would have gotten. I think I actually took this trade. This higher low, higher high off the POC. But I would have been again. I sold at the value area high, and I would have probably been pissed off if it would have been here because I'm like, oh, I didn't sell half, and I have to get used to being able to sell half and then just being able to stop out the rest of the position and not think about it as giving the win back, but just having a system in place where when it does work in my favor, it does benefit me. MP a big. Hey man, I was looking at this name down here, ugh, and I can't believe I didn't take it. So tilting. Like, let's run through some of these other names real fast. Quantum had a big day. Still a lot of weak names here. SLDP is up. Oh, for the 9-day here. Gapping up. MNMD. Bounced at a weird spot. Hard to get into that. CCJ. Meaning gap here. Maybe looking to get back up here to the 9-day. Not really sure. BBY. BBY is an interesting one. But it had its opportunity here, rejected from the 9-day, now came back down to the 50-day. I wonder if it's going to try again here. Is it worth the go is the question. You have this sideways range here. It broke bull, waited patiently. Here's your back test. It is a potential weekly higher low. Monthly's just kind of junky. The spread on this name is ridiculous too. Ugh. Okay, we talked about Google. Okay, let's go to Quantum real fast. QUBT bouncing off of its alternative POC. Daily trend is garbage. Daily did not get oversold. Weekly is kind of rough. It's kind of getting a little bit unclear. RGTI. I traded this one bull on Friday. Oh, sorry, bearish on Friday. Oh no, was it bullish? It was bullish. I traded it bullish. Yeah, I played this play right here. Oh nope, sorry, I played this one. This little 2-minute higher low, higher high. So no follow through. But again, these levels here, this one holding, sideways, bear break, back test. These names aren't getting the push you would think. These guys can, this one a little bit better. Double bottom here. See, but look at this candle here. I mean, this is such a tough play. I don't know how you get around this one. I mean, you get the bull off the jump, the bull break. You think you maybe missed it. And then you get the break underneath the POC, and then it pops up. I mean, it's just a keeps you up at night, man. Those are tough. Let's check out some metals. Oh, gold is up. Darn it. Did it really do this? Oh, fuck. On Sunday. It literally did it on Sunday. Come on, what? Mm. There's your inverse head and shoulders. Hmm. How's IBIT looking? Yeah, I mean, it was under the 200 day, but Now it's over it. Bitcoin at 106. Had this little triple bottom here, bull break. Looking to get back up to these moving averages, I would assume. But you could see definitely not as strong as a bounce as the broader market had for sure. So maybe a little bit of weakness. Vistra Holden. I mean, again, these names are so crazy. These oil names are just different beasts. I was worried about Vistra going down pretty hard here, but it looks like it's holding its. CG had bad earnings and completely recovered. RNG has been sideways forever. And let's look at these stocks in the rate. I'll look at BMNR. That's a that's an Ethereum name that I've been sort of keeping an eye on. Looking for a monthly high or low. Weekly was kind of sideways. Broke bear. Kind of in a weird spot with a lot of overhead resistance and some of the moving averages. So yeah, I think I have some work to do. Let's just look at these real fast. Let's see what QQQ Inspire are doing. And they're still slowly chugging. Can I edit this? No. Okay, so we got Lyft here. Looking good. Lyft is looking really good. See if we can keep on chugging. We talked about RGTI already. Not as big of a bounce as you would think on a name like this. NVDA, we talked about it. Getting towards top of the range here. Thursday's highs. I mean, you could borderline just like I'm just gonna erase this because goes from a level of interest to now overhead resistance. Like, no, I don't think so. That just confuses me. Once the level of interest is broken down, like it just should be eliminated, in my opinion. Then you use your other things. You use your other things like price levels, RSI, and moving averages. Talked about Amazon. This is different because this is an hourly supply zone. That's different. AMD here. Kind of back into its range here. Hmm. Mara is crazy because I did this whole move was nuts, and then it just went down here. You know, if it wasn't for these moving averages here, Like, this is just a really nice looking short all the way down to here, potentially. Those moving averages just kind of get a little sticky. They're like, "Oh, okay." But, and then you see, like, this candle here and this higher open, you're like, "Crap." Right? I mean, it's just I guess you just have to take a piece off there and just let the rest ride, right? Like, I mean, it becomes very hard. Man, I didn't think price would gap up this high. LAC bounced right off of this level, eh? Soundhound. ACGL. This name is still being trash. Jesus. Well, it's got a stop loss in, so barely moved. So it looks like healthcare is weak. I mean, this is another name here. Once again, coming back to these demand zones. But you have this stock here that broke bull out of this demand zone, had a nice move up, and now it's literally coming down with almost a stair step minus 1 day. RSI is cranked to the downside. I'm assuming we're looking for a monthly high or low, and we're back in this range. So you would think that this would be somewhat of a long here. And again, the game plan. So UNH should be written down though. If there's some more rotation, UNH. We talked about BBY a little bit here, but their spread is so gross. I really can see. Oh, I really can see this thing just going, going. I mean, it does have the setup that you know I tend to like, which is you have the bull step in, which I actually was supposed to be on this trade, but I missed it. Then you get stopped out. So aggressive bull's getting stopped out. Then you open here. Boom. You can make a case that aggressive bears got in on a crack of the high of the structure here, or the higher this range. and then now they get stopped out, and then if price gets over here, something like this. I mean, it's not bad. If it doesn't have a dollar spread, though, BBY is interesting. We'll put it down. Hmm. Oracle gapping up, daily oversold, didn't quite get to the 200 day. Are we looking for a monthly higher low? We are. I mean, this would just be like one of the earlier entries. You still need a daily trend change. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're interested, you look for the daily, you look for the hourly higher low. Or you're going to be patient and wait for the 200 day. Philip Morris. SLB looking better. Peb. Hotel, what the fuck? Entra. Right off the. I mean, I hate when this happens. I hate when this happens. Right off the triple top. It probably happened on like a 5 minute candle. Yep. And who knows if price will ever test that one again. I mean, Entra just looks like a long here. It just feels like one of those names that just want to go. %8 move. Pre-market, it's gross. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was hourly. Hourly. Looking for a daily higher low. Right off support. But we'll have to have a limit order there. If it doesn't even get back over, but it had that bull break here with no follow through into a pullback, that's never a good look. Okay, LO gapping up after breaking support. I mean, this is just showing you that the whole market bounced. the scale tipped. Something the Bears did what they wanted to do, and then they're taking a break. Hmm. All right, well, that's gonna do it. Market is still trying to hold on to this bull move. This is definitely the level to watch out for on the way back. All right. See ya.